Well, hello everybody. MMA with friends, family, anybody else that's just a fan of Kobe Bryant. Someone had requested that I go live. Theron Nelson was one of them on Facebook, just for people to talk about our memories of Kobe and kind of just come together and mourn an icon of our times. And I talked to young David about this, and Kobe, when he was drafted, I mean, he was larger than life, and I'm not sure we even can have stars this big today. There's so much going on, everything's so busy, there's so many things in the news. But like I told young David, the sports world stopped and the news cycle kind of revolved around Kobe Bryant the moment he got drafted out of high school. They said, who is this 19-year-old kid coming out of high school, signing a multi-million-dollar contract, and seeing Lakers jerseys, seeing Bryant Lakers jerseys pop up everywhere. And I feel with you, Kal-El says, this sucks being a Rockets fan. I always pulled against Kobe and the Lakers, but damn, man, this sucks. I agree, man. I was a Sonics fan, but I was never a Lakers fan, but I was a fan of Kobe Bryant. I was a fan of watching him play. There's only really two players that if my team was not playing growing up, if the Sonics weren't playing, I would watch if Michael Jordan was playing, and I would watch if Kobe Bryant was playing. And that was pretty much it. From the 72-point game to playing through excruciating injuries. And the fact that this guy had a 20-year career with all the injuries that he had, all the minutes that he played, all the style, the aggressive style that he played with, absolutely amazing. Haterade9 and Kal-El, hello, thanks for joining us tonight. Hater9 says, I've seen Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. But Kobe was the best all around in and outside of basketball. He is the GOAT to me. I don't know if he's quite the GOAT to me, but he's definitely, for me, he's definitely in the top echelon of all players to ever play. And Rob Iman, I feel your sentiments. He says, it seems surreal. It's like Clark Kent dying. It really is. I'll tell you, I was at work today, and my daughter Rebecca texted me on the phone, and she says, did you hear about Kobe? And immediately my heart sunk. And I was hoping she was talking about, an animal named Kobe or something, because she likes watching a lot of YouTube videos about animals. She watches koalas and different things, and she's a very diligent student. When she's stressed out, she just likes to go and watch silly animal videos on YouTube. So I was hoping there was some animal, a raccoon or something, or a koala or something named Kobe. And then she told me no, he was in a helicopter crash and died. And yeah, exactly. It was so surreal. I couldn't say anything. I just froze up on the aisle. I didn't want to be at work. And I don't know about you guys. I didn't think it was going to affect me in the way that it did. It's not that I forgot about him. I mean, he played not very long ago. But it's also, it's not something I think about every day. But then those memories of childhood just came rushing back, and it brought me back to 1998, a year after I'd graduated. Kobe Bryant's, like I said, being drafted, coming into the NBA straight out of high school. And it was the time of Kobe Bryant. It was the time of, Britney Spears coming up. Not that I'm the biggest fan, but it was a time of the signs, and it was kind of fit. After I heard the news, I had to go to the restroom, not much afterwards. I wasn't in tears. I won't act like I was, but I definitely did upset me. But I went in there to go to the restroom, and when I walked in immediately, a Britney Spears song from probably around that year, if not that year that Kobe was drafted, started playing in the bathroom. And yeah, I know it's a coincidence and sounds silly, but it just kind of brought me back to 1998, being 19 years old, and just really left me with not a whole lot to say. And a lot of people have a lot to say. Former teammates, Shaquille O'Neal, in an age where players play for 6, 7 teams sometimes, a lot of teams. Kobe Bryant, he was a throwback. He was a guy that spent his entire career, no matter what you say about him, he was an LA Laker through and through. No other professional team will ever be identified with Kobe Bryant, and I mean, not even any college. He went straight from high school to college, and this was a guy that while he was in high school, you started hearing about him. I mean, there was pay-per-view games of him while he was in high school. John Doe, is it Raptors and Spurs both let the 24-second shot clock run out? Peace, Kobe. Very fitting, John Doe. Very good of them. I seen the Staples Center was lit up in purple. Hundreds of thousands of fans mourned, and the only thing I can describe this that was close, and I guess 2 times in my lifetime, but the closest comparison when I was younger was I remember Kurt Cobain dying when I was in high school. And I remember people calling into the local radio station. Of course, here in Washington, in Seattle, it was very sad. A lot of memorials and things. A lot of memorials for Kurt, people just talking and bringing things to his grave and things. And this has got the same kind of surreal moment. And of course, ESPN, it's nothing but ESPN is about Kobe today. Sports Center, even our president, who Kobe was not the biggest fan of, came out and had nothing but respectful words for him, and I pray for him and his family. His 13-year-old daughter Gianna left behind. I know his wife Vanessa will miss him very dearly, and in many ways, maybe his life wasn't just starting, but definitely the second chapter of his life. The ultimate competitor, 4-time All-Star Game MVP. He had told people, he said, the next chapter is going to be bigger than this one. Now, that's quite the shoes to live up to, but that just shows you that he was the ultimate competitor. He wanted the biggest goals. This guy was such an insane gym rat. You've heard stories, and yeah, he would get frustrated with other players. Yeah, he got frustrated even with Shaquille O'Neal at times, when Shaquille would get out of shape in the preseason and in the offseason. Because for Kobe, there was no offseason. I mean, the biggest vacation probably he took during the offseason, one of the biggest things is you can say, he went to Europe to get blood spinning, down on his knees to extend his career. 20 years with that aggressive of a style. To play like that, the pressure that he put on his knees, and especially starting before his body was even fully developed at such a high level. He literally gave everything to the game. He gave everything on the court every single time. Ryan says, I wept at the diner while I was having brunch. I don't blame you, man. It was everything I could tell. I mean, my heart was crying for sure. It was everything I do really to hold back tears. It's horrible. I've been cried on it. Mike Breen cried on his Knicks broadcast today. If I'd had to go live right afterwards, I don't think I'd have been able to say much. And I probably would have broke down in tears myself. Everything that he represented. And it's not possible right now, I don't think, to convey all of our thoughts and really give his life and his career justice right now. All the people that he touched. I know from the things with kids on Nickelodeon. I remember my kids seeing him on Nickelodeon. That's how they knew him, because he was always doing things to support children, uplift women's basketball. He was a big advocate for the WNBA. All through all their struggles, he pushed and advocated for them to continue to be solvent, to be able to play, and went to their games, supported them, and Sam 302 says, I've never been a fan of any other sport than MMA, but I'm even saddened over this. I didn't have to know much about basketball to know he was a legend. Much respect from the MMA community. And it didn't take me long to know that you guys would understand, Sam, that I was doing something non-MMA on Kobe. And, for just a second I thought, maybe I'll do this over on the Sports Experience channel, the non-MMA channel, for the MMA fans. And I thought, no, this is a classy community. Everybody's going to want to, they're going to want to show their respects, even if they're not interested in watching the show. They're definitely going to understand paying respects to, a guy that touched so many people, encouraging children to read, really encouraging development level basketball, the National Basketball Development League, these young stars. And he was really one of these guys that you hear people talking about a hand up and a hand out, and I'm sure he gave plenty of hand ups, but Kobe was more interested, plenty of hand outs. He was more interested in the hand up. He was more interested in uplifting other people to be empowered, rather than to just give them, to just give them something. He had a fiery hatred for laziness and complacentness. Literally, like I said, just the gym rat. And he got on a lot of young players. And he got on Shaquille O'Neal, like I said, because he didn't feel like he trained the way that he should during the offseason. Even if Kobe was, even if Shaq showed up when it was season time or it was game time, there was never enough practice for Kobe. He was always working on his crossover. And I remember he had one of the best crossovers in the game when he came out. It was just insane. And the behind the back move, I remember as a kid playing with my friends, playing with coworkers after work, and practicing that behind the back move. I don't remember when Kobe first did it. I think it was very early in his career. If somebody can refresh my memory as to when he became famous for that, but it was very early in his career, and I remember mimicking and practicing that and trying it in games. And usually you would get stuffed, or a lot of times you would lose the ball, or it wouldn't work out well. But when you were actually able to do that behind somebody and blow by them, and 1 times out of 10, it just made you feel special. You shake people out of your shoes with that move. And on a sad day, it's glad to have the memories like that, though, and celebrate somebody that was great and completely respected by all of his peers. I hear you, Quincy. Says he can't believe he died. And I'll tell you, that's one of the first times I've been able to smile today thinking about practicing that behind the back dribble. That just kind of came to mind, and that does make me smile, thinking about how he influenced me. Playing games for fun. I was a street baller. For fun, I played street ball. I'm not saying I was real good, but we played a lot of hours. It was a big part of my life at that time. I loved playing basketball, and I would emulate Kobe Bryant. The joy. It was the Jordan fadeaway, and it was the behind the back Kobe Bryant move. And man, welcome, Ordinary Pete. You are correct. A very sad day and fitting. Like we said, the Staples Center being lit up in purple, and so many people in tears today. I mean, people from around the sports world, from, of course, Shaquille O'Neal that played with him, the Tiger Woods that considered him a great friend, to Michael Jordan, who called him a little brother. And tonight, Alicia Keys and Boyz II Men honored Kobe Bryant in an opening performance. Even Donald Trump tweeted, Kobe Bryant, despite being one of the truly great basketball players of all time, was just getting started in life. He loved his family so much and had such strong passion for the future. The loss of his beautiful daughter Gianna makes this moment even more devastating. Melania and I send our warmest condolences to Vanessa and the wonderful Bryant family. May God be with you all. Former President Barack Obama said Kobe was a legend on the court and just getting started, and would have been just as meaningful a second act. To lose Gianna is even more sad. That turnaround jumper was silky smooth. It definitely was. Captain Buzzkill, good to see you. This is damn too young. Guy still had many years ahead of him. I mean, he was just getting started in the business world, and he had so many ideas. And then, the details of his death are just coming in slowly. It sounds like not just Kobe Bryant. Of course, 9 other people died, including his daughter, Gianna. We don't know what the cause of the helicopter crash was the last time I seen, but we know it was a very foggy Los Angeles evening. We know 911 calls were made. A 911 call was made at 9:47 a.m. Pacific today about a fire and a helicopter crash, and the magnesium from the helicopter made the fire hard to put out. Michael Jordan said, "I am in shock over the tragic news of Kobe and Gianna's passing. Words can't describe the pain I'm feeling. I loved Kobe. He was like a little brother to me. We used to talk. He was a fierce competitor with the greatest of the game and a creative force. Kobe was also an amazing dad who loved his family deeply and took great pride in his daughter's love for the game of basketball." Yvette joins me in sending my deepest condolences to Vanessa, the Lakers organization, and basketball fans around the world. And of course, those condolences go to his family from my family, from my wife and young David and my daughter Rebecca, and I know from the MMA with Friends community and the MMA community. Yes, behind the back loops is Haterade9. Theron Nelson, welcome. This is so horrible. God bless all. Theron Nelson, thank you for posting on Facebook. Give me the idea that people maybe would want to, speak about this. Phil Jackson said our relationship as a coach-player transcended the game. They were very close, and not a guy that you had to... Not a guy that you had to get after. Not a guy that you had to get on to come after for practice. And just fitting 17 hours before, Kobe Bryant had tweeted, continuing to move the game forward at King James. my respect, my brother. I mean, fitting on the day that he passed away, he would have paid respects to the next generation. 60 points in his final NBA game was a record for most games in a finale. Rob Imes said, I wish they had postponed today's NBA games to let players grieve. I do too. I know I know at 9:47 a.m. I'm sure it was very hard for them to get everything organized. I'm glad they had, the memorials, and I'm sure all of us will remember January 26th of 2020 for a long time. A long time. I know I will. I'll remember. It'll be easy to remember. It's the day after my sister's birthday. Yesterday was her 37th birthday. Watch him go off on his retirement game was so amazing, so cool. The other team let him do his thing. At that point, it's like it's beyond winning. It's beyond the game. This guy just put so much into everything. And so OMG, a void in our hearts, for sure. Like I said, my heart sank. Gianna Bryant, his daughter, God rest her soul, 2006 to 2020, 13 years old. I mean, just starting her life, just beginning her life, and I'm sure she would have made a huge wave and would have made him proud, and I know she did make him proud. She did make Kobe and Vanessa proud in her 13 years of life and their disciplined family. And Kobe, he did his job to keep his family life private as much as he could, as public of a persona as he had. He protected his family from the paparazzi and other things, but he also honored them. He honored his daughter. He did things, like I said, with children, like encouraging children to read, to play basketball, the things with Nickelodeon. Even though he didn't go to college himself, he helped others go to college. And I just want to here in a few minutes. It's 10:05 p.m. Pacific. I'm gonna read a few more comments, and I hope after that, in a few minutes, get your beer ready, wine, or if you have to work in with sparkling water or whatever it is. I want to have a toast to Kobe Bryant after I get through these comments. We'll have a ceremonial beer pouring and a toast to Kobe Bryant and Gianna and all 11 people who have passed away in this horrible helicopter crash today. MMAKO says, watching him go off on his retirement game was amazing. So cool. The other team let him do his thing. Irvin Johnson, too, was super bummed. I mean, the other greatest Laker of all time. I mean, I know they were good friends, and, Magic definitely gave him his 2 cents over the years. Doc Rivers was in tears today, coached against Kobe Bryant in 2 NBA finals, and I mean, that just shows you nobody cares about competing today. Nobody cares about wins and losses. It's about honoring a time-honored tradition of a guy who was early for practice every single day. This guy did not miss games. He played with injuries. You could not give more. When you talk about 100%, people talk about giving 100%, 105%, whatever it is. This guy gave everything he had through injuries, through illness, through practicing in the off season and helping his teammates get better. Wow, I'm so 37% higher chance of being in a fatal crash. Oh, what's up with? I don't know anything about the pilot right now, Theron, but that's not where my mind's at right now. He's also another casualty. Irvin Johnson was so bummed. I said, sorry, I got out of order there for a second. But Stephen A. Smith seemed real down about this. I'm sure he was. I'll get off his back about the Cowboy comments. Hope he's all right. Yeah, for sure, Sam. And speaking of that, to be honest, the video that I was actually planning on making and written when I came home was it was actually some things about Stephen A. Smith and him talking about MMA. And I'm not even going to go into that right now because it's not the place or the time for it. But Dwayne Wade, who played with Kobe Bryant in the Olympics, says it feels like a bad dream. It's a nightmare. And I think it doesn't feel real to most people. Theron says, I know how would Kobe feel knowing his daughter was killed prematurely at age 13? Yeah, it's insane. MMA Chaos has 37% higher chance of being in a fatal crash in a helicopter than any other aircraft. They are very, very hard to fly, for sure. I'm sick from this loss too, Theron. Never ridden in a helicopter. What's it like? Theron says it's dangerous AF. Yeah, down too, man. Haterade9 says it looks scary. I never have either. I've wanted to, and I'm not going to lie. This is going to make it a little... I would be a little hesitant now. More hesitant definitely to get into a helicopter. My dad... who was an airplane mechanic for a lot of his career. He'd been in a lot of planes and a lot of helicopters, and he talked about how hard it was to fly a helicopter. He'd had the old model helicopters when I was a kid, and just to give you an idea, those were scaled to model. The saying was always buy two if you're going to get into helicopter flying. Buy two because you're going to need the other one for parts, and that's literally what people did. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of the greatest centers for the Lakers ever from 75 to 89, gave a long speech, a video you can see on Twitter. Did you see what Ari Shafir said? I hope nothing bad, See the G. I don't want any negative vibes right now. See the G says, R.I.P. to the real GOAT. I feel like that word is thrown around far too often. He was definitely one of them. In my mind, there's Jordan and Kobe. That's the top two ever. It's Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and maybe LeBron James gets into that conversation one day as well. In my mind, he's not even in that conversation yet. It's two kings. It's Kobe Bryant. It's Michael Jordan and the man that he called his little brother, Kobe Bryant. There says, oh yeah, the wife has an SUV license plate, says Bryant. She always was at her friend's house and Dover Shores. What's really sad is his little daughter and the other children that died in that. I didn't know there was more children. I know they haven't released all the names because they had to wait until they'd notified the next of kin. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said the NBA family is devastated by the tragic passing of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna. For 20 seasons, Kobe showed us what is possible, and remarkable talent blends with absolute work ethic. He was one of the most extraordinary players in the history of our game with accomplishments that are legendaries. 5 NBA championships, an MVP award, but he will be most remembered for inspiring people around the world to pick up a basketball and compete to the best of their abilities. Very true. He was had a wonderful heart. My friend's son, baseball coach. Are you serious, Theron? That's horrible. R.I.P. to their family. That's horrible. And thoughts with their family and your son and your family right now, Theron. I'm really sorry to hear that. Orange Coast College basketball coach, his wife and daughter. Yeah, Doc Rivers wasn't on there. Doc Rivers was talking, I think, right? Huntington Beach was where his wife was from. She went to Marina High School. Nice. Said she was a Kobe of the college baseball world. Really? Baseball coach, not basketball. Yeah, definitely awkward moment, no doubt, I'm sure. Warriors broadcast did a great tribute to Kobe on the Bay Area RSN. I liked how Kobe stayed with the Lakers throughout his career. Remember the crash in Cowie? Stayed with Lakers his whole career. Yes, he did. And in a time where players change teams 5, 6, 7 times per career, I mean, even the legendary Brett Favre, it's hard to remember him as anything but a Green Bay Packer, but he didn't finish his whole career with the Packers, and to me, that's also a nod to the Los Angeles Lakers for allowing him to stay around throughout his whole career as he got older, not trading him, and part of that, like I said, was always because he played till the utmost of his ability and beyond, going overseas to Europe in the offseason to have, what was at the time exploratory blood spinning done that he said in his knees that were ravaged by so many dunks and cuts and plays since he was so young. And right now I want everybody to grab a drink, grab a beer, grab a champagne, grab a wine, and we're going to have a toast here in just a moment. I'll give you guys a minute to get that ready. But man, just a horrible time. Here in a minute, I'm trying to get it. We're gonna commemorate Kobe as MMA fans, as boxing fans, as fight fans, with the honorary 10 count. And everybody go ahead and grab your beer, get ready, and we'll have a 10 count. Lakers saw how much he succeed after basketball and stuck with him. Sad, just sad. And I pour this drink, we pour this beer, our drinks, and we drink this drink in honor of a legend, of a family man, of a man who inspired us not just in the sports world but in the business world, in our family lives and our careers and anything that we would try to do to be successful. That's what Kobe was a fan of: hard work and practice and elevating. And I pour this beer, and I'm going to play the honorary 10 count for Kobe, and we will drink a moment of silence for the Mamba. Cheers, Kobe. I know you're looking down on us from heaven, Gianna and the other members on that plane crash, and I toast them. I toast everybody in the room tonight. Thanks for coming in and sharing this with me. And thank you, Theron, for sharing this on Facebook. And drink here to Kobe. Hard. A Tiger Woods in tears. A man that didn't play with Kobe, but was a great friend. Haterade 9, so the Lakers saw how much he could succeed after basketball and stuck with him. Sad, just sad. I know I read that earlier, but that's very important. That's great that they stuck with him, and I mean he's just such a legend of the game. He really stamped the game as much as anybody other than Michael Jordan. And I mean when him and Kobe Bryant, I don't know if you guys remember him and Shaquille O'Neal, when Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant got together, everybody in the league, including myself, was just like, what the hell is going to stop this? And they, of course, won several NBA championships together. And then, in Kobe fashion, he was a trash talker. He would get up in your face. I remember I was trash talking, with Gary Payton at the end of his career, trash talking with LeBron James at the end of Kobe's career, and trash talking, with these other guys with Shaq afterwards. They went back and forth in a friendly rivalry and competing, talking about who would get the most championships, and it really, they rose each other up. Pulse Reloaded. Welcome. Yes, number 8 and number 24. The young man and the older, wiser veteran was just an absolute legend. And whoever gave the thumbs up down there, I hope that's on me and not on Kobe. If it's about what I'm doing, whatever I'm doing, that's fine. But hopefully nobody's disrespecting this great man. New York Times reported on Twitter, Kobe Bryant, who made the leap directly from high school to a glittering 20-year career with the Los Angeles Lakers that established him as one of basketball's all-time greats, was killed in a helicopter crash on Sunday north of Los Angeles. He was 41 years old. Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, says no Maverick player will ever wear number 24 again in honor of Kobe Bryant. I mean, come on, there's only so many numbers. So for the owner of another team to retire a number, that just shows you how special he was. And I cannot imagine what his daughter Vanessa's going through right now. Just the Lakers Nation posted, just thank you, Kobe Bryant, with a picture of him in the middle of the star. And I agree, they should have stopped games today. It would have been a nice touch. I know it would be very hard for people to reschedule their hotels and planes, and not just for the team but for the fans and things like that. But this made this a very hard day, a day that I didn't want to be at work. I certainly didn't want to be at work. As soon as my daughter told me about this, I was just definitely done. My heart sank. I had no energy, and I was just like, I just want to be home with my family right now. Overwhelmed and exhausted with despair. I hear you, Pulse. And you don't have to be a Lakers fan or a fan of Lower Marion High School to respect and mourn Kobe Bryant today. So many fans, so many jerseys and flowers and things given today at the Staples Center. If anybody would, I'm going to be with my family here in a minute. I want you guys to go to your family and, hug your loved ones and spend some time with them this week and just think about how short this ride could be before I go. If anybody wants to call in, the number's there, 425-791-8730. I'll give you guys time if anybody wants to call and share their thoughts or give respect to number 24 on the air. I'll give you guys a few minutes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream. But a couple of people just told me that they wanted to share their thoughts. Theron on Facebook and other people, thank you. That's what inspired me pushed me, I guess, to do this when I didn't really feel like it. So thank you, Theron. And I hope it gives people a chance, to think about the good times. Like I said, the 72-point game, the 60 points in his finale, the camaraderie, and then the friendly rivalry between him and another all-time great, Shaquille O'Neal. And during the Pro Bowl, of course, they stopped, and both teams did a stop, drop, and jump shot. He was famous for that. That crossover, the behind the back, and then that wicked fadeaway jumper. Of course, so many memorable dunks over the years. He posterized a lot of players during his years as number 8 and number 24. I mean, his career just ended 2017. He barely got a chance to live his life outside of basketball. I mean, from a time as a young kid being obsessed with basketball to just retiring 3 years ago after he'd given his all. 9-time first-team all-defensive selection. Was the MVP, NBA MVP in 2007-2008 season. 11-time first-team all-NBA selection, tied for second most in NBA history. And just a consummate practicer. Teams today, of course, took a 24-second or 8-second violations to begin their games to honor Kobe today. I think that was very appropriate. Madison Square Garden pays tribute. Madison Square Garden switched their exterior lights to purple and yellow. And Kobe had that 61 points at Madison Square Garden, February 2nd of 2009. One of the Oregon guards had Forever 24 written on her shoes. Sabrina Ionescu, honoring her, says, honoring him in everything I do, I did it for him. This season is for him. And on that note, I'll end this podcast or this this show. But thank you guys for tuning in on this sad day. I wish you all a great evening with your families, and hope that you have the fond memories of Kobe eventually. And today we are all heartbroken, but he gave us so many happy memories and so many highlights to remember over the years. This is why we're sad. Let's remember why people are sad today, because he made us so happy. We're sad because he made us so happy, because he entertained us, because he gave us something to enjoy, because he suspended reality in sports when we were stressed out about our family, when we were stressed out about politics or what was going on at work or whatever else was going on. Dialed but call didn't go through. Just a second, Theron. Let me see. I don't see missed calls. I don't know if I'm on Do Not Disturb. Turn off Do Not Disturb.
Do Not Disturb is already on.
Huh. Try again, Theron. As a Blazers fan, I'm really going to miss seeing Kobe in the NBA community. We'll miss you forever, Kobe. R.I.P. Absolutely, man. I'll give you another time. If you want to try one more time, Theron, or if you want to dial in on Facebook Messenger, I can get you through the audio on the screen too. I know you're part of the MMA with Friends Facebook group. And anybody else, if you don't want to call in too, just go to go to me on Facebook. It's Michael Benedict, and or go to the Facebook Fights of Friends Facebook, and you'll find me in there. Eulogy88 says Kobe, yeah, R.I.P. Kobe, and respect. Oh, call didn't go through, huh? I'm not sure why. I have 4 bars up here, but I do have to work in the morning, as I know a lot of you do. Comedic Genius, hello, sir. Welcome on this dark evening, as we give honor to a legend and toast whatever it is you are drinking. A toast to Kobe and everything that he stood for: hard work and practice, and showing up on time, and never giving up, and always giving 100%. And of course, I said his daughter Gianna. Yeah, no, not Colby Covington. Kobe Bryant, comedic. He'll be eligible for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. This is actually his first year. He scored 81 points versus the Raptors January 22nd of 2006. Was the second most in NBA history. He's the only player to start in the NBA All-Star game before turning 20. Cheers, Eulogy. And, of course, his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, rest in peace, way too young. Went to sleep for work, it was 5. This morning, it's 9. Terrible. Man. Hello, boxing, MMA. Welcome. It says, I'll drink to that. Dude, love you all. And love to you guys and friends and family. And I just thought it was a good time to remember friends and family. And I said that, just thinking of that crossover and that crazy defense, that unrelentless defense. It's a guy, he always wanted to play. He always wanted to guard the best player. Whoever was the best, it didn't matter their position. Kobe's like, that's my guy. And he would become obsessed with that guy. Vehement trash talker, vehement competitor. He would watch tapes of his opponents. He would, in that way, he was like a mixed martial artist, because even in a team game that was 5 on 5, he would study the best player on the other team and try to figure out, how am I going to stop this guy? From Tim Duncan to an aging Michael Jordan to a younger LeBron James. It's hell without coach there. And what's up, Shoujo? Good to see you in here. This is terrible, man. This is the news I got when my plane landed this morning. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. I remember I was getting off a plane when I heard the news about Michael Jackson. But this feels somehow different. Even, I don't know, to me, why. I know probably to most people it didn't, but it felt even bigger than that. The only thing I compare it to is when I was a kid, like I said, watching, when Kurt Cobain died, and we were in Seattle when I was just a teenager, and I was just getting into Nirvana and Kurt Cobain, and watching him go so early. This guy, he was a part of my childhood. He really was my childhood. Like I say, he's the same age as me. I remember seeing him drafted straight out of high school, and the market being flooded with those jerseys. The the sporting news world stopping as they were amazed of this 19-year-old kid coming out of a high school. One of the first players out of high school, first All-Star, first player ever in the All-Star game at 20 years old. Just so insane. And like I said earlier, fitting 17 hours or so before his crash, he had sent out a tweet honoring the next generation LeBron James. Well, thank you for being in here to boxing. I'm also sorry that it's not under better circumstances. I took a nap when I got home because I just... I thought... I really couldn't stay up. I went to sleep. I took a nap, slept for about 3-4 hours. Night comedic, have a good one. About 3 or 4 hours after work. And that's why I'm up now, but I just didn't really want to deal with it. And coming on here now, and with you guys, I know a lot of you guys, I can see feel the same way. So I'll go ahead and cut this for tonight. If you give a ceremonious thumbs up for Kobe for this stream, I would like to see... Thank you. Just when people see this stream about Kobe Bryant, I'd like to see it have 100% thumbs up, or a lot of thumbs up. So thank you for that. Not for me, but for just that we'll remember this day. I know I won't forget January 26th of 2020. And one more drink to everybody. Cheers, and everybody love your family. Have a great night. As always, I love you. I respect you. R.I.P. to Kobe and Gianna Bryant.